Hi Alatier family. Today we are going to do a watercolor painting, and it is going to be a single tree, but it's going to be divided into seasons, and I've got a couple of different ones here. As you can see, I've got a cross in the middle, and I've got showing winter, spring, where sometimes you'll see like blossoms and little green leaves, and then in the summertime trees typically are full and green. You might even have some fruit if it's a fruit tree. And then in the fall, of course, you have leaves that are changing colors, some that are still hanging on your branches and others that are flying off, and those that have fallen on the ground. And I added a little tire swing for this, and then over here in the winter I added a snowman. And I'm using blue to represent snowflakes since white would not show up very good. And this is just another of that same type of painting. I didn't put a cross to show the different seasons, but again, the reason that we have that cross or plus sign is to divide it into quadrants. So we have winter, spring, summer, fall. Okay, so to do our watercolor painting today, you're going to need your watercolors, and at school, I'm sure you have something that's going to be a little bit more like this with less colors. So for instance, if you were going to do the pink cherry blossoms, you would probably need to combine your red, and if you have white, you could make pink. Otherwise, you just might have a little bit different look to your trees, and that's okay. Whatever you come up with is perfect. Okay, so you have your watercolors. You're gonna need a cup of water, because obviously you can't do watercolors without water. You're gonna want a paintbrush, and you should already have yours given to you. Hopefully they're able to give you 2 paintbrushes, and typically you want something that's got a little bit more brush on it, so something like this one or like this, and then something that has a little bit finer points, so it kind of helps you with making your snowflakes and your leaves. And other things you're going to need, you're going to want a pencil, and if you have a black marker, that's going to come in handy on this one. I actually took and I drew with my pencil, and then I used a marker instead of paint just to make sure I could get him precise. And optional is a ruler to go ahead and make that cross. So I think that is it, and we are going to get started here. Let's get started on our 4 seasons tree. Okay, so to start off, and this is where a ruler would come in handy if you have one. I know that this paper is 9 inches this way by 12 inches this way, and I want to divide it in half. So I'm going to come down, and I know that half of 9 is 4.5. So I'm going to make a little mark here. And then half of 12 is 6. So I'm going to make a mark here. So I'm going to make my up and down line like this. And then my side to side horizontal line like that. I'm going to start drawing my tree. And to do this, I want to use my pencil, but I want to make my marks as light as possible. So I'm going to come up here just above your horizontal line and kind of to the left of your vertical line, and draw a line down, kind of straight, and then kind of curve it out. And then you're going to do this exact same thing as a mirror image on the other side. And you're going to start curving it out. and that creates the trunk of the tree. Now, when we draw a tree, one of the things that they talk about doing is making Ys and Vs. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw a branch out this way, and I'm going to draw a branch out the other way, kind of a little bit further over. And if you look at it, it kind of looks at the shape of a Y. So now I'm going to add a V, which is basically I'm going to make a branch. So I'm going to draw a line parallel to this one, so it comes down here, and then I'm going to go up in a V shape. So now you can see I have a V, and I'm going to do the same thing over here on this branch. Okay, and I'm going to go up and I'm going to make a V. Okay, so what you're going to continue to do is you're going to come on this branch and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to draw a line this way, a line that way, and it makes a V or a Y. And then you're going to put a V kind of in the middle, and as you go out from your trunk of your tree, it gets thinner. Think of a tree in real life. If you were to look at a tree, you would see a lot of the shape of the letter Y and the letter V. And so I can keep doing this method until I run out of room. So I have a Y and then a V. And this one I'm going to have to close. And so, but if I wanted to, I could keep just making Ys and Vs. And then over here, I'm going to make another V right here. So I'm going to kind of make a line parallel to this one and come down here and make a V, and I'm going to run it parallel to this one. So you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4 bigger branches, and then I've got some small ones. And to make those small ones, you just keep kind of going off like into a Y, and then a V. And then you get out here and you take this one and you can make another Y. And I know it's hard probably to see that it's a Y since it's upside down, but it is a Y. Whoops, I did that wrong. I'm sorry. Your Y comes off this point, and then the other part is right here, because your V actually is in the middle. Okay. All right. Before I have your teacher pause the video so that you can work on drawing your tree, and if you have a different way of drawing your tree and your branches, that is fine. One suggestion I even have, if you have a hard time drawing branches, I have a big hand, but maybe you have a smaller hand, and you can take your hand and you can trace it. And this can become, your wrist can become kind of the trunk of your tree, and then these can become your branches, and then you can just add more off of it. There's no right or wrong way to make a tree. Okay, you see we all have different shapes. I've made this one and it's a different shape. But before I have you pause, we need some branches down here in the fall and winter. Now, one thing that I want to do, and when I paint, it's not going to be a big difference because all the brown of the tree is going to go together. But if I were just drawing this tree, I would probably erase a little section, and then I would draw a limb going this way. And then again, I'd make a parallel line. And what am I going to do? Make a Y. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make a V. Okay, and again a Y and a V. It's just over and over until you've got some good branches. I'm even going to add another one right here. So I'm going to add kind of a different shape. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing over in the winter, except I think I'm going to start down here and go up, come out like that. Because tree branches have all kinds of wonky shapes if you've ever noticed that. So, okay, and now we're gonna make a Y. And you guessed it, we're making a V. Okay, all right, and then if I want to keep going, I'm just going to keep going and you get thinner the further out. And I feel like I need to have one more off of here. So I'm going to erase just this little line. Again, you really don't need to erase those because you're going to be painting over this. Okay, so again, here's your Y. And now I've added my V. And that is my tree. So teacher, you can go ahead. Oh, as you notice, I didn't finish this up here. And again, I'm kind of making a Y and a V just to kind of close it in. But you go ahead and work on your trees, and when you're ready, give yourselves maybe about 5 minutes and come back.